Picture this, a man worth over $100 billion wakes up in the same modest house he bought back in 1958. For just $31,500. No gates, no palace, no sprawling mega mansion, just a simple home in Omaha, Nebraska. Now here's the contrast. He could own 10 mansions, each dripping with luxury. He could park a line of exotic cars in front of everyone. He could throw parties that would make Hollywood jealous, but he doesn't. Instead, Warren Buffett, one of the richest men alive, eats McDonald's breakfast, lives in the same neighborhood he's lived in for decades, and drives an ordinary car. And here's the part that pulls you in. This isn't because he can't live lavishly, it's because he won't. Why? Because Warren Buffett understands something most people miss. The power of living below your means isn't about sacrifice, it's about freedom. Let me ask you this. When you picture a billionaire, what comes to mind? Private jets? Island getaways? A closet stuffed with designer clothes? That's the story we've been sold. Success is supposed to be loud, wealth is supposed to sparkle. If you don't show it, do you even have it? But Warren Buffett breaks that myth wide open. Here's a man who could own anything, and yet chooses almost nothing. And in that choice, he quietly reveals a secret that could change the way you think about money. I want you to imagine yourself for a moment. It's payday. That feeling of relief washes over you like finally being able to breathe. You start thinking, what do I deserve this week? A nice dinner? Maybe I should upgrade my phone. Most of us know that voice. The itch to spend. Now flip the picture. Imagine already having so much money that you could buy anything, literally anything, and yet, you still choose the cheap breakfast, the same old car, the house you've lived in for decades. That's not boring, that's power. Because Buffett knows, the less you need, the freer you are. And here's where it gets fascinating. Most people chase the feeling of wealth through spending. Buffett chases the freedom of wealth through restraint. Think about that contrast. Most people, when their income rises, immediately raise their expenses. Buffett, when his wealth exploded, kept his life the same. He didn't upgrade, he didn't flex, he didn't trade simplicity for spectacle. And maybe, just maybe, that's the reason his fortune grew so large in the first place. Let's rewind. It's 1958. Warren Buffett is in his late 20s. He's already fascinated by investing, already chasing opportunities. And then he makes a decision. He buys a house, a modest, comfortable home, not a palace, not a trophy, just enough. That just enough mindset is the thread that runs through his entire life. Fast forward through decades of unimaginable wealth, and the house hasn't changed. The man hasn't changed. He's still the underdog who values peace over prestige. And in that decision lies the heart of living below your means. It's not about denying yourself, it's about defining yourself. Now here's the twist that makes this story even more compelling. People often confuse living below your means with deprivation, with lack, with saying no to joy. But Buffett doesn't look deprived. He looks calm, steady, focused. Because when you live below your means, money stops controlling you. You control it. Think about that. Money, for most people, is like quicksand. The more they earn, the deeper they sink. Bigger houses, higher bills, endless payments. Buffett stepped out of the quicksand entirely. Let me give you a picture. It's a cold Nebraska morning. Buffett drives to McDonald's. Not a private chef, not a gold-plated breakfast. McDonald's. He has 3 menu options, and he picks depending on how the stock market is doing that day. If it's down, he spends $2.61. If it's up, maybe $3.17. That's a billionaire counting coins in the drive-thru. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's exactly the point. Because while others chase the illusion of wealth, he's busy compounding the reality of it. Now let's pull back. What can you and I actually take from this? Here's the truth. Living below your means isn't just a financial strategy, it's a mindset shift. It's realizing that happiness, freedom, and success don't come from constantly upgrading. They come from learning to be content, from refusing to let consumption own you. Buffett understood this from the start. That's why his wealth didn't just grow. It multiplied decade after decade until it became something the world couldn't ignore. And here's the kicker. He didn't do it by chasing wealth's image. He did it by ignoring it. Imagine how different your life would feel if you didn't need to impress anyone. If you didn't have to buy the car for the status, the house for the neighbors, the outfit for the approval. That's Buffett's world. And ironically, that's the world available to anyone who learns to live below their means, not just billionaires. Because living below your means doesn't start with billions. It starts with one decision: choosing value over image, freedom over flex, calm over chaos. And here's why this matters so much today. We live in a culture of display. Social media makes it look like everyone is rich. luxury vacations, designer clothes, flashy upgrades. But peel back the curtain, and most of it is debt. Most of it is performance. Buffett reminds us that the loudest lifestyle isn't always the wealthiest one. Often it's the quiet ones, the ones you overlook, the ones you call boring, that are stacking wealth in silence. So as you hear this, I want you to hold on to one image. Warren Buffett, billionaire, sitting in a modest home, eating a $2.61 breakfast, perfectly content, not chasing, not proving, not showing, just living. That's the power of living below your means. It doesn't just protect your money, it protects your freedom. But here's where the story gets even more interesting, because Buffett's lifestyle isn't just about saving money. It's about building a fortress. Think about this. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, even with rising incomes. They buy the nicer car, the bigger house, the flashier toys. On the outside, it looks impressive. On the inside, it's chains. Every new upgrade is another lock, another payment, another reason they can't walk away. Now here's Buffett. The man has billions but no chains. His house is paid off. His car is modest. His life is simple. So while others are trapped by the image of wealth, Buffett lives in the reality of freedom. And here's the contrast that really stings. Imagine two people. Both earn $100,000 a year. One spends $95,000. The other spends $40,000. Who's richer? It's not the one with the fancier car in the driveway. It's the one with options. That's Buffett's secret in a nutshell. Living below your means isn't about deprivation. It's about buying options. Options to walk away, options to wait, options to invest in opportunities others can't even see. But it wasn't always like this. Let's rewind to the early days of his investing career. Buffett didn't start with billions. He started with patience. Picture him as a young man sitting in his small Omaha office. No computers, no fancy trading software, just piles of paper, financial reports, numbers he'd study for hours. Everyone else was chasing the hot stocks, looking for quick wins. Buffett? He was playing a different game. He invested carefully, slowly, always with margin. He didn't just want profit, he wanted peace of mind. He wanted to sleep at night knowing he hadn't overextended, knowing he didn't need to sell tomorrow to cover yesterday's indulgence. And that discipline compounded, slowly, invisibly, then all at once. But what he did next changes everything. Instead of letting wealth change him, he doubled down on simplicity. Most people, when they taste success, inflate their lifestyle. They think, finally, I've earned it. Time to enjoy it. Buffett thought the opposite. Finally, I have more capital to invest. See the difference? One spends, one compounds. One feels rich for a moment, one becomes rich forever. And here's the emotional tug-of-war. Freedom versus chains. Indulgence feels good in the moment, the dinner out, the shiny upgrade, the quick dopamine hit. But freedom? Freedom feels good every moment. Buffett traded dopamine for freedom, and over decades, that trade made him unstoppable. Let me ground this with something you know. Think about your phone. Every year there's a new model, new features, ads everywhere screaming, don't fall behind. But here's the truth, your phone still works. It calls, it texts, it scrolls. Upgrading doesn't change your life, it just changes your bill. That's lifestyle creep in disguise. It's death by 1,000 upgrades. Buffett never played that game. He didn't care what neighbors thought, what headlines said, or what status symbols he lacked. Because the real status symbol is peace. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Living below your means doesn't just protect you in good times, it shields you in bad times. Remember 2008? The financial crisis hit. Banks collapsed, investors panicked, people lost homes, jobs, retirement funds overnight. But Buffett, he was sitting on cash. Because he lived far below his means, he had reserves. And while the world scrambled, Buffett invested. He bought into Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and other giants, deals only he could make because he wasn't desperate. That's the advantage of living below your means. When everyone else is drowning, you're the one holding the lifeboat. Now here's the cliffhanger question. What's more powerful, having wealth, or having the discipline not to flaunt it? Most people would choose the show. The car, the clothes, the vacation selfies. Buffett chose the opposite. And in that choice, he unlocked something people rarely talk about, money without pressure. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, someone asked Buffett why he never upgraded his house, why he didn't move into a mansion. His answer? It would drive me crazy to have 10 homes. Read that again. Drive me crazy, not impress me, not make me happy, not prove anything. Crazy, because he knew every more comes with maintenance, with stress, with complexity. The more you add, the less free you feel. And that's the irony of wealth. The people who chase more often feel less. The people who choose less often feel more. Here's another picture. Imagine a man who owns a $200,000 sports car. He's stressed about payments, insurance, repairs. He parks far away in fear of scratches. He's chained to it. Now picture Buffett in his modest sedan, paid in full, no stress, no chains, just a car that works. Who's actually richer in that moment? And this is where Buffett's wisdom becomes universal. You don't need billions to live like him, you just need clarity. Living below your means isn't about the size of your paycheck, it's about the size of your gap. The gap between what you earn and what you spend. The bigger the gap, the more freedom flows through it. And here's the hidden magic. The gap doesn't just save you money, it changes your identity. Every time you resist lifestyle creep, you're not just protecting your bank account, you're teaching yourself you don't need more to be enough. That's confidence, that's power. That's independence from the treadmill of earn, spend, repeat. But let me leave you with this image. Buffett, billionaire, pulling into a McDonald's drive-thru. He orders the $2.61 breakfast. He unwraps it, eats it quietly, and gets on with his day. Meanwhile, half the world is screaming about upgrades, luxuries, the next shiny thing. Buffett doesn't hear it because real wealth doesn't shout, it whispers. And the whisper says, live below your means, not because you have to, because when you choose less, you unlock more. Let's bring this all the way back. Remember the image we started with? Buffett in his modest home driving his ordinary car, stopping for a simple McDonald's breakfast. That wasn't just a quirky billionaire habit, it was a philosophy. A daily reminder that freedom isn't found in the things you show off, but in the chains you refuse to wear. Here's the big truth. Wealth isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in quiet, repeated steps. Not once-in-a-lifetime jackpots, but small, consistent choices stacked over decades. It's the choice to skip the upgrade. The choice to save instead of spend. The choice to value peace over pressure. That's the secret Buffett understood and lived. And here's where it becomes timeless. Living below your means isn't just about money, it's about life. It's about learning that enough is a superpower. That chasing more doesn't always add more, and that real security comes from less pressure, less clutter, less debt. In a world that screams for more, Buffett's quiet whisper reminds us, freedom grows in the space you don't fill. So maybe the takeaway isn't to copy Buffett's breakfast order or his old house. Maybe it's to copy his discipline, his patience, his refusal to let lifestyle creep dictate his future. Because when you live below your means, you're not just saving money, you're buying freedom. Freedom to think long-term, freedom to say no, freedom to live life on your terms. And if that idea stays with you, even a little, then this story has done its job. So here's my question for you. What's one small habit you can change today, not tomorrow, not next week, that brings you closer to freedom? Think about it, write it down, start it now. Because small habits, repeated daily, compound into extraordinary lives. If Buffett's philosophy inspired you today, stick around. This channel is about building wealth the quiet way, through discipline, mindset, and habits that last. So subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and let's keep growing together. Because like Buffett taught us, the real power isn't in living large, it's in living free.